Good evening. This meeting is being held in accordance with the schedule of meetings adopted at the organizational meeting held January 7th, 2020. Adequate notice of this regular meeting of the Kenilworth Board of Education has been provided to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, the local source. A copy has been filed with the Kenilworth Borough Clerk, posted at the board office, the Kenilworth Borough Hall, Brearley and Harding Schools, as is provided by the Open Public Meetings Act. The meeting time has been changed to 5:30 p.m. via notice on June 1st, 2020. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and in consideration of the Executive Order number 107 issued by Governor Murphy, the Kenilworth Board of Education does hereby notify the public that to limit the public gatherings to mitigate any person-to-person exposure, this Kenilworth Board of Education meeting will be conducted using Zoom video conferencing. The public will be able to view via YouTube live stream for those interested in watching on their computers. The link will be available at 5:30 p.m. from the district's website, www.kenilworthschools.com, by clicking on the Kenilworth BOE YouTube channel link under the Board of Education tab. Public comment will be accepted only during the public comment period in the meeting via email at publiccomments@kenilworthschools.com or by calling 908-931-9696 extension 2325. Once again, that's publiccomments@kenilworthschools.com or by calling 908-931-9696 extension 2325. For the record, please include your name and address in all comments requests. Thank you.
Okay. Can everyone rise to salute the flag, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of America and to the
and
republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Can we have a roll call, Mr. Ganella?
Yes, Biner.
Here.
Braun.
Here.
David.
Here.
Drogan.
Foster.
Mrs. Drogan.
Here, but muted.
She's there. She must be on mute.
Here.
Okay.
Sorry.
Abather.
Here.
Jankowicz.
Here.
Ladati.
Here.
Panici.
Here.
Zimmerman. All present.
Okay, we have a quorum to proceed. First item is receiving of the minutes of the secretary of our May 11th, 2020 meeting.
Motion to accept the minutes.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? Okay, who seconded? I'm sorry, broke up a little bit. Okay. Motion made by Mrs. Zimmerman, second by Ms. Strogan. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, motion's carried. Next item, reading and acceptance of our monthly correspondence. Mr. Ganella, do we have any?
Yes, I included all the comments that came in via email to the board from the May 11th, 2020 meeting. Those included comments all regarding the same topic of the classroom aid schedule. And they included emails from Tina Lanaw, Monica Jerkowitz, Monica Betancourt, Nicole Rodriguez, Serena Argolotiri, Nicole Bellino, Marianne Finestrella, and Erin Healy. In addition to those, we also received correspondence from our Executive County Superintendent, Darryl Palmieri, to Mr. Arlington regarding our revised closure plan due to COVID. That is public correspondence.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to accept the correspondence?
Motion to accept.
Okay, do I have
Second.
a second? Okay, we had a motion made by Mrs. Drogan, second by Mr. Jankowicz. All those in favor say aye.
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 Is anyone opposed? So carried. Next item, superintendent's report and presentations. Mr. Arlington.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Thank you. I'd like to use some space in my superintendent's report to share celebration in honoring this year's teachers and educators of the year. We'll look for a more personal in-person celebration when we're all together again. Until then, we've encouraged our honorees to view this ceremony of sorts with their family and friends tonight virtually, and I hope they're doing so. Tonight's recognition of this group of teachers serves as a reminder that they're all change agents who are committed to growing their own professional practice and serving the needs of our Kenilworth students. Our elementary educator of the year is Mrs. Jackie Schmidberg. Mrs. Schmidberg is a second grade teacher and also a lead teacher for our district. Jackie's been a member of our faculty since October 2002. She's been the recipient of our Perfect Attendance Award, served on countless committees, including our Reading is Fundamental effort, and served as a mentor to novice teachers. In my interactions with Jackie personally, I found her to be a consummate professional who's deeply thoughtful about her instructional decision-making. Congratulations, Jackie, and again, I hope we may enjoy a more proper personal celebration next school year. Our Educational Services Professional of the Year for Harding Elementary School is Dr. Jamie Hill. Dr. Hill is a school occupational therapist. Jamie has been with us in district since October 2010. She earned her doctorate in 2017. She's contributed to our school community in many ways. Dr. Hill is a profoundly student-centered professional who excels in creative problem solving, as well as professional communication skills. She consistently demonstrates best practice and innovation in occupational therapy, as well as its application in public schools. Her professional collaboration, work ethic, and in-depth knowledge of all her students is exemplary. Congratulations, Jamie. Our David Brearley Middle School Teacher of the Year is Ms. Katie Pollock. Katie began in our district in September of 2011. She contributes to our school community both in and outside of the classroom by having served in the roles of senior class co-advisor and lead teacher of the Scholars Academy. She's been co-director of our band ensemble and has engaged in curriculum writing for various areas. Personally, I've been privileged enough to observe instruction in Katie's class several times. I've witnessed firsthand her energy and passion, and in my conversations with her outside of her class about her classroom, I found Katie to be open to feedback, committed to growing her practice, and reflective about her teaching. Thank you, Katie, and congratulations. Our David Brearley High School Teacher of the Year is Mr. Jake Ulasevich. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I'm sure he kept that idea in mind when he chose to send me this pic of himself. You see right now as part of being honored tonight. I'm going to try to say a few nice words anyway, despite this pic. Mr. Ulasevich began in our district in September 2018. Since then, he served as a computer science teacher. He's offered professional development for our staff and engaged in curriculum writing. Outside of the classroom, Jake contributes to our school in a major way. He oversees some of our social media platforms and works both behind and in front of the scenes as part of our Conversation Matters video podcast series. And if I may add, Jake is a one-man school spirit machine. Thank you, Mr. Yu, for all you do. Finally, our Educational Services Professional of the Year for Brearley High School is Mrs. Roseanne Barilla. Mrs. Barilla began in our district in 2008. She's a learning disabilities teacher consultant, but currently serves as a teacher for our alternate ed program. In her time with us, Mrs. Barilla has conducted parent trainings, performed child study team evaluation work, and participated in our extended school year program. I was lucky enough to visit once or twice this past school year, Mrs. Barilla and her students in our newly created alternate ed program. To say that the students were happy and in her care and under her teacher leadership would be an understatement. Mrs. Barilla exudes calm, kindness, and compassion, and her students are lucky to have her. Congratulations to Ms. Barilla. As I close out this part of my report tonight, I end with a reminder proffered by reading guru Richard Allington, who asserted that while programs and resources and class sizes matter, they don't matter as much as teachers. So to the 5 teachers who are honored tonight, to all of Kenilworth's teachers, to my board member, teacher colleagues, teachers everywhere, thank you for all you do every day. Next, I'd like to point your attention to resolution number 23, which recommends Mr. Jeremy Davies as principal of Brearley Middle High School. Mr. Davies was a top contender throughout the interview process, which consisted of teachers, parents, students, leadership team members, KEA leadership, and members of the Board of Education. I believe Mr. Davies has the prior experience as a principal, along with a vetted track record of advancing student achievement and enhancing school culture and spirit. Since these are critical areas we are laser focused on as a district, I believe he can both advance and accelerate these efforts. We'll be sending out more specific information about Mr. Davies' background and history tomorrow to the public at large. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll be working through some ideas for meet and greets and whatever they may look like given this virtual environment. Switching gears, we continue to make advancements on planning for July graduation ceremonies for our 8th and 12th graders. While we'll be having virtual ceremonies, we're also including in-person ceremonies as part of our celebration efforts. Right now, as was messaged out this weekend, we ask that you reserve July 22nd and July 23rd for 8th and 12th grade ceremonies respectively. We'll continue to keep you updated in real time about the number of ceremonies we will hold, as well as the number of tickets available to families as we learn more about the max capacity for gatherings over the next few weeks. In related news, a group of parents have asked to meet with me to share ideas about additional ways we may honor our graduates over the next few weeks. And I look forward to incorporating their ideas in accordance with feasibility and NJDOE guidelines. Finally, last night, I sent a Sunday update to the board. In that update was the customary packet that includes HIB findings, our enrollment report, and suspension data. As it relates to HIB, I just ask that you note resolution number 35 is a recommendation to uphold the findings of an HIB matter that was recently appealed through a hearing which was heard by the curriculum committee. This concludes my report.
Okay, does anyone have any comments or questions for Mr. Arlington? Just one comment from me. Congratulations to our educators and educational services professionals of the year. Well-deserved recognition. And thank you for all that you do. We'll move on to report of committees, review of resolutions, and board discussion. Our first up is Finance and Facilities, Mr. Ladati.
Thank you, Mr. David. The committee met virtually on June 4th to discuss various matters, including proposed loss of state aid or projected loss of state aid of $102,639. And we discussed methods to and ideas to close the gap. Now, Vince, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but that depends on if we get the governor gets his federal money from get some more federal money. That number could change, I believe.
Correct. His proposal is based on borrowing substantial amounts of money from the federal government, which there is some discussion down in Trenton regarding whether that's the proper method to deal with the loss of revenues from the state.
Great, thank you. For reserves, by June 30th of each year, the Board of Education needs to determine what is to be done with excess reserves. We'll have a resolution on that. We'll have some discussion and resolution on that for the June 23rd agenda. There are several grants associated with COVID-19 that the administration is looking into. In addition, the district may be eligible for funding through FEMA. For facility projects, includes some more work at the Burley Gym, masonry concerns at Harding bathroom upgrades, and the Burley outside classrooms. Mr. Ganella is also in the process of renegotiating the UCESC transportation contract, which is resolution number 19. And that just gives Mr. Ganella the authority to continue and finalize negotiations with them. COVID-19 obviously was discussed, a major part of our discussion and its impact on our operations. The committee has reviewed some of the preparations currently taking place, include the purchase of several large ticket items for disinfecting. And I'll get to that. I'll cover that in one of our resolutions also. As for insurance, total actual premium for all coverages below our budget projections. We continue to enjoy a favorable workers' compensation experience, which has improved 2.8% from prior year. The student accident renewal was flat versus last year. Overall, the rates have been very stable for the last 5 years. We are currently in the third year of a 3-year commitment period with the New Jersey School Insurance Group. There will be a resolution on the June agenda recommending continuation for that program. So far, it's a success. PL 215, Chapter 47, the reward of contracts. Basically, that just allows the Kenilworth Board of intends to renew, award, or permit expiring contracts awarded by the Board of Education. These contracts have been and will continue to be in full compliance with all state and federal statutes and resolutions, in particular NJ Title 18A 18. Now, for resolutions 1, 2, and 3 are the standard monthly item, which includes the superintendent's report, which was just presented, and also the billing report and the financials. I reviewed the billing report and the financials, and I found them all to be in order. I'm not going to go through every resolution because there's a number of them. I'll just highlight a few, and then we could ask, you could ask myself, Mr. Ganell, or Mr. Arlington, any questions on any resolution you would like. But this month we had or last week we had a line item transfer for $38,000. The money was transferred from the unused substitute teachers fund or salaries or amounts in there to purchase disinfecting equipment, sprays, etc. Hopefully, we're hoping that FEMA will or NJ Care Grant will reimburse us for that money. I spoke about in my narrative, resolution 6 and 7 cover insurance in the premiums. And I did ask Vince to contact our broker to determine if there's any potential premium reduction over the next few months or even going into next year that we could maybe recoup some of our money or save some money for next year's premium. 13 is nursing care. And I just don't want to call your attention too much to the cost involved, but just with this COVID questions going on, we may need a second nurse or maybe few nurses. So that cost may be increased also. 17 is instructional plan for distance learning. And that not only includes distance learning, but includes items such as safe delivery of meals, disinfecting guidelines, air purification equipment. So again, just relying that the potential cost for us just to move forward to open the school year could be a lot higher. And that's all I have. Questions?
No questions?
Great, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. We'll move on to personnel and management. Mr. Havether.
Thank you. We have just a few resolutions which I'll go through tonight. Resolutions 20, 21, and 22 accept the resignations of a Spanish teacher in David Burley Middle High School, the school psychologist, and a kindergarten aide. Resolution 23 approves the hiring of Mr. Jeremy Davies, principal for David Burley Middle and High School, Middle High School and High School. 24, 25, and 26 approve the maternity leave absence. 27 approves professional development presenters. 28 will approve the virtual training for the summer of 2020. 29 is a staff approval for extended 2020 school year. Resolution 30 approves ESEA summer program staff. And resolution 31 is the approval of substitute staff for the remainder of the 2019-2020 school year. Those are all the resolutions for personnel and management. If anybody has any questions, please let me know.
I'd just like to state that resolutions, both resolutions number 5 and 28 are going to be pulled from consideration. We're still discussing some of those, so it's a little, we're going to pull those. Those deal with professional development. One's under finance and one is under personnel.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from Mr. Havether? All right, we're going to move on to curriculum and instruction. Mrs. Zimmerman.
Yeah, good afternoon, evening. We only have 4 curriculum and instruction resolutions. Resolution 32 is acknowledging the Ed Services Professional of the Year. Resolution 33, recognizing the Teachers of the Year. Resolution 34, approving payment for particular individuals involved in curriculum writing. And Resolution 35 is the approval for the HIB report for the month of April and upholding the HIB finding of the hearing that was held on May 14th. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mrs. Zimmerman? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to policy review. Mrs. Braun.
Thank you. We have Resolution 36, which is a second reading to adopt Regulation 1581, a mandatory regulation on domestic violence. And Resolution 37 is for revisions to adopt Policy 1581, mandatory policy on domestic violence. That's it.
Okay. Any questions on that policy? Okay, then we're moving on to old business. Does anyone have anything under old business? No one? Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Dave, just one question. Could maybe Vince supply an update on those on the temporary classroom situation for the board?
Sure. As we discussed on last Thursday evening, we did have one engineer come out and considered the structure not repairable, basically because the way the roof system connects to the walls. He did not think he could find a suitable replacement, I guess. The insurance company did send out another engineer who's looking at some other possibilities of how he can replace that roof without affecting the structural integrity of the facility itself. So that's where we are in the process. We're not sure where we are going to be for September with that. Probably be a little longer lead time if it is going to be repaired. If not, we may consider to get some relocatable type structures to see if that could be used for that program that was out there. As you may recall, our plan was to expand that program in September to add an additional class out there for the program that was running out there. So we'd like to try to do what we can to maintain that program and continue its expansion.
Thank you. And Vince, we also may need, we may need an independent nursing office or office. I mean, I know that's possibly under consideration from some.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, we've gotten little direction from the Department of Ed on how to open up schools in September. I think they're more focused on how we're going to do graduations. But some of these things are critical, and some of these things are going to take some long lead times. And that's why we got on the ball with regard to some of the equipment items for disinfecting to make sure that we were in the loop on receiving those in a timely fashion. So, you know, one of the things if you read the CDC's recommendations on opening up facilities, one of them is how to quarantine individuals who come into the building and may be sick. Well, if you're an adult and you come into the building and we test your temperature and you're above a 100.4 temperature, the easy solution is to say, thank you, have a good day, go home, consult your physician. We can't necessarily do that for children who have been left in our under our auspices. As a result, we can't just kick them out of the building. So the question is, how do we quarantine them? Do we quarantine them in the nurse's office? Might not be the best idea because that's within the building. So we've been bouncing around some ideas, the possibility that the nurse's office would be in some type of trailer facility that would give the nurses the ability to quarantine students who may have a fever until their parents could come and pick them up, at which time then we would go in and thoroughly disinfect that area. So those are some of the things that we've been talking about. And that's also, as you said earlier, Mr. Ladati, we talked about the possibility of having another nurse on staff to accommodate that. So one nurse could stay in the main office and another office could stay in this this quarantine facility. So a lot is up in the air with regards to how this is going to play out. Not only the instructional piece, but some of these logistical pieces dealing with COVID.
Great. Thank you, Vince. Mr. Ladati, is that it?
Great. No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Move on to new business. Does anyone have anything under new business?
Hi, everybody. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Michelle.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention the Union County Educational Services Commission had their reorganization meeting and the regular meeting this month. And the current superintendent, Terry Foppert, resigned, and they are looking for a new superintendent. And they also said there will be more information in our upcoming meetings about the transportation concerns that Kenilworth and everybody else has expressed. So that's all I have to report for now.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
Mr. Jankowicz, you had something?
Yeah, I was just wondering, are we going to do anything to honor the valedictorian and the salutatorian? Were they announced? Was anything done for them?
Yeah, we're in the process of working through some ideas. I can share updates as they become available.
Okay.
In that vein, I'm just curious, and it may be stepping outside of the realm of what a board member's point is. I know day-to-day operations, not us, but I can't help but notice how many different things we've seen in other districts throughout the state, around the country, whatever the case may be, of how seniors have been being honored in one way or another within their districts, with things coming up from, principals with the school mascot showing up at the people's homes to deliver their cap and gown and a silly little balloon. Not that it's silly, but and these circumstances, just a little touch of something to say, hey, we recognize you, we honor you. And I get, with us being a choice district, we're not all necessarily confined in the town, but some of these areas that are doing it are townships and regional type schools that cover vast areas, much more than what we have. And I can't help but wonder, what are we doing in Kenilworth to let our Brearley students know that they mean something to us?
Sure. So today we had the district put the bill for personalized signs that we installed today that are flanking the roads, I think, of Monroe, and then also the side of the campus to help build some spirit. I was on the phone this afternoon along with Mr. Ganella and Chief Zimmerman to discuss what it would look like to do a sort of wave parade or a clap out for our kids to build Mrs. Zimmerman some of that spirit that you were discussing. And then I hope that the meetings I have next week with parents who share some of the same concerns as you do would be a place to make those things happen. So
I hope so. I mean, my daughter graduated 2 years ago, so luckily from my own world, we avoided this. But I can't imagine as a parent how I would have felt if we were getting this close to the end of school and seeing things going on so many other places and nothing happening to acknowledge what these kids have gone through. And we all know that the last section, this e-learning, learning from home, has been difficult for everybody. It's been difficult from the teacher side of the fence. It's difficult from the student side of the fence. And some of these kids are rising to the challenge and then some. And I just want us to not let them just ride off into the sunset without us somehow letting them know that Brearley cares, that Kenilworth cares.
I'd like to just say something. I was thrilled to see in the local paper the picture of every student. And I don't know if they do that every year, but because I honestly didn't see last year, but I thought that was a wonderful way to show. I mean, they got their picture in the local paper, and that's a way to start. I just want to thank all of you and the administrators, because you're on Saturdays, Sundays. I mean, really, thank you for all the extra work I know you're all doing.
Sure. So to try to tie that conversation up a bit. The PTOs feel very strongly about some of these same ideas, right? They spearheaded the effort to have kids' pictures in the paper, Mrs. Dragone. So I think it's fair to acknowledge their efforts and credit them for that, for spearheading that work. And so I also, in my conversations with parents, as I'm welcoming them into the fold of some of these efforts, I don't think it should go unnoticed that we're implementing both the virtual graduation and the in-person graduation too. Could we be sprinkling that more school spirit efforts on top of both of those? Sure. So while we don't have to do both, right? We're choosing to do both because we realize the in-person is what kids deserve and what they want. And it's my hope that the virtual is this sort of awesome 21st century keepsake that kids can have above and beyond whatever sort of goofy yearbook photo they have or think they have 30 years from now to share with their kids and grandkids. So the signs, the clap parade, all of that is efforts to meet those goals that I hear board members saying need to be met. So duly noted, and you have my word. We're addressing it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else under new business? All right. Then we are ready to open the meeting to the public.
I'll make a motion to open the meeting to the public.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion made by Mr. Zimmerman, second by Mr. Ladati. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, the meeting is open to the public for comment. The Board of Education sets the limit for the public to speak at the board meeting to 5 minutes per person unless prior permission has been granted by the board for extended time. Vince, you have the, I see that the slide is up there, although it's a little bit blocked.
Yep. If you are sending an email, remember to please include your name and address in all comments for the record. Also, please be aware that there is a delay between real time, which we all in this room and on Zoom are currently experiencing, and versus what's happening on YouTube right now. So it's approximately a 30-second delay. So we ask your cooperation and understanding of that. But we will try to allow the public an opportunity to respond if necessary. Our plan this evening is to take all phone calls first and then suspend phone calls and then proceed to read any emails that are in our public comments email box.
Okay,
So,
just go ahead, Vince. Sorry.
And we're just going to wait a couple minutes and see if anyone calls in, and we can proceed.
Okay, and I'll just read the slide here. So public, anyone who wants to make a public comment can do so by emailing publiccomments@kenilworthschools.com or by calling 908-931-9696, and the extension is 2325. One more time, email publiccomments@kenilworthschools.com, or you can call 908-931-9696, extension 2325.
No emails. All right, so unless the people are using a rotary phone, I think we should be okay. And there are no phone calls, and there have been no No emails, so no public comments, Mr. David.
Okay. So Vince, if it was a phone call, I think last meeting, we actually heard the phone ringing, so that would still be the case, right?
Correct.
Yeah. All right. And no emails either, you said, so.
Unless you want to, or I'll make a motion to close to the public.
You're making that motion, Mr. Ladati?
Yes.
Okay. And do I have a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, who said second?
I did.
Good.
And Mark.
You can give it to Ryan. Put it on record.
Motion made by
Seconding
Mr.
this.
Ladati, seconded by Mr. Jankowicz or Mr. Habeter. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, the meeting is closed to the public at this point. So we will move on to roll call of resolutions. Mr. Ganella?
Yes. So resolutions, finance resolutions include resolutions 1 through 19, with resolution number 19. Would Mr. Ladati like to make that motion?
Mr. Ladati, you on mute?
He's on mute.
No, I was switching views. So yes, I'll make the motion that the
Okay.
facility resolutions be
Is there a
adopted.
second?
Did we pull one of those?
We
Just
pulled number
5.
5.
Okay, so you went from 1 to 19. You didn't, okay,
1 to 19 with resolution number 5 removed.
okay.
Okay, is there a second?
Second,
Okay. This is for resolutions 1 through 19 with number 5 removed from consideration. Biner,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Drogan,
yes.
Habeter,
Yes.
Jankowicz,
Yes.
Ladati,
Yes.
Benici,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yeah.
and David.
Yes.
Motion's carry unanimously. Okay, these are resolutions for personnel and management. They include resolutions 20 through 31 on the agenda. We are removing number 28 through consideration. Mr. Habeter? Would you
I
like-
make a motion to have them voted on.
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Habeter made the motion, Mrs. Drogan seconded it. Biner,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Drogan,
Yes,
Habeter,
Yes.
Jankowicz,
Yes.
Dottie,
Yes.
Benici,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
and David.
Yes.
Motion's carry unanimously. This is for curriculum instruction resolutions on the agenda, number 32 to 35. Mrs. Zimmerman, would you like to make that motion?
We'll move them.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion was made by Mrs. Zimmerman, seconded by Mr. Biner. Roll call, Biner,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Drogan,
yes.
Habeter,
Yes.
Jankowicz,
Yes.
Ladati,
Yes.
Panici,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Motion's carry unanimously. And finally, policy resolutions, including number 36 and number 37. Mrs. Braun, would you like to make
Make
that
the
motion?
motion to move them.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion was made by Mrs. Braun, seconded by Mrs. Zimmerman. Roll call, Mr. Biner,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Drogan,
Yes,
Habeter,
Yes.
Jankowicz,
Yes.
Ladati,
Yes.
Benici,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
and David.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay. Mr. Ganell, do we have need to go into executive session tonight?
Yes, we do, Mr. David. We're going to
Okay.
meet. Be it resolved by the Board of Education, the Board of Education meet in private session from which the public shall be excluded to discuss the topics of KEA negotiations, all units, which private discussion is being held pursuant to section 7B and 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act. The matters under discussion will be disclosed to the public as soon as final decisions are made and voted upon. The Board of Education is going into closed session to discuss the above matters, but will not be taking any further action this evening. The meeting will adjourn at the end of the executive session. Therefore, this will conclude the live YouTube portion of the meeting. Thank you. Thank you for participating this evening, and the board looks forward to meeting in person with the restrictions when the restrictions have been lifted. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion was made by Mrs. Zimmerman, seconded by Mr. Ladati. We're going to do roll call. Biner?
Yes.
Braun?
Yes.
Drogan?
Yes.
Habeither?
Yes.
Jankowicz?
Yes.
Ladati?
Yes.
Benici?
Yes.
Zimmerman?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Okay.
Vincent, do you need me for that?
No, Mr. Gagliardi, we do not.
Okay.
Okay. All right, everyone. Have a good night. And one last thing. Our next meeting is scheduled for June the 23rd, but depending on when the virtual graduation is, that might be that same evening. If that's the case, we might switch that day to allow not only our administrators to participate in that, but I know there's some board members who also might want to participate in that as well. So it's not going to be probably logistically possible to do it both. So we'll keep you posted on that, and we'll get out some ideas from other times. Okay.
Ready.
Thank you. Okay.